Hey, I'm live. I think I've got this quite set up how I want it though. Let's go. Yes, that may be. Minor adjustment, and I'm happy. Which way do I want? Oh yeah, there you go. That's a bit better too. Hey, all you fine people. Who's already in the chat? Fox of Fate, Luke, Justin, Musical Aviator. Good to see you all. And Aidsy tells me he's joining. However long that takes him, somewhat impossible to predict. Like he responded half an hour ago when I said, hey, you're going to be in a live stream. He's very enthusiastic. And then he hasn't responded since I sent him the link about 5-10 minutes ago. So who knows? Who knows when we will see him? Oh yes, I see little talk about the cashless credit card, which is, I'll probably make a video about that. It's just class warfare. It's absolutely disgusting. I have nothing but contempt for the bloody cashless card. It's just absolutely shit. And hello, Adele and Locust Trooper. How are you doing? It's just absolutely shit. Ooh, and hello, wait a sec. Adele and Locust Trooper. Stop that. Stop that, I say. Stop. Oh, my word. All right, I don't know why that suddenly tickled my throat. Okay, I was just trying to share a link. There we go. Say, join me live to talk about... There you go. I'm just sending a tweet out. I'm twatting. So I am. I'm on the twatters. Okay, what was I doing? That's what I was looking for. Good. Thank you, computer, for helping me out there. So yes, musical better. Yeah. Yes, I think we all agree the cashless welfare card is fucking bullshit. It is evil. Actually, I find it quite evil. Just a little something extra to make the lives of the most marginalized people even more miserable. It's just such a nice touch to just decide, like, hey, you know what, this person, who is whose support payments are so far below the poverty line, it borders on a crime against humanity. We should actually humiliate them some more. That would be a good thing. Hello, Ms. Foxification. How are you this evening? Locust Troopers are going to include the people with disability payments. Given how aggressively the government is trying to move people off disability payments and force them on to New Start, regardless of whether the person actually has the fitness to work, my guess would be yes. They really want to humiliate everyone and make everyone's life as miserable as possible. It's just, and it's mind-blowing. It's not a cost-saving thing. Like, it actually costs so much to introduce this system. Costs so many millions upon millions of dollars to introduce this system just to fucking humiliate people. It's sick and wrong. And hey, Lemonhead, how's it going? It's a wild and crazy thing. Like, I titled this "What the Hell Happened in Iowa," and I actually don't know what the latest is. I quickly look. Yes, I know the Democrats said something about the results being wrong and they had to check because of inconsistencies. so we don't actually know. Officially, the Iowa Democratic Party has not yet released any data from tonight's caucuses, blaming the delay on inconsistencies and promising to release results later Wednesday, Australian time. The debacle intensified complaints that Iowa should not vote first, considering tonight's issues in the state's mostly white demographics. It is a very unrepresentative state. Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg delivered addresses to supporters that sounded oddly like victory speeches, as Joe Biden's camp appeared to downplay expectations. See, here's a fucking weird thing. Apparently there was some electronic system to calculate caucus votes, and it's like they want there to be conspiracies about this. The company that was paid a bunch of money to develop this app that has failed, besides getting a bunch of payments from the Democratic Party, also got payments from Pete Buttigieg's campaign, which just reeks of dodginess. It's just such an astoundingly bad optics. It's like I feel like they actively want to spur on conspiracy-minded types. It's absolutely ridiculous. It just looks so fucking dodgy. Now, I know the Sanders campaign is basically convinced they got the highest percentage of votes, although there's no official thing. Now, the Buttigieg campaign started releasing all this stuff that sounded like victory stuff, and this is where it looks dodgy. It looks like because of their payments to this company, they got some inside information on the results. Like unofficially, what people are saying is the results pretty good to very good for Sanders, pretty good to very good for Buttigieg, pretty shit for Warren, and very shit for Biden. And this is just the first, and it could be quite inconsequential. Could be very consequential. Who knows? Who knows? Good calls on the cashless welfare card misfoxification. The welfare card stops people shopping online, where it's usually cheaper, stops students buying secondhand books. Yeah, Luke, good call. Farmers markets, can't buy anything from there. And we have already had, in the test cases, multiple instances of the internet going out. So people couldn't purchase anything because the cash points, the point of sale machines, were non-functional. So the people reliant on this card couldn't buy anything. It's fucking terrible. It's terrible, bordering on criminal. Like we're talking about, yes, it's going to cost $10,000 a person to put the system in place, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. But then you start to hear stories that members of the LNP own shares in the company that's making it and is making all the money. It just looks so fucking dodgy. Raiders, who won Iowa is the big question, and it's apparently going to be at least 12 to 24 hours, until we get a definitive answer. That's why I titled this, "What the hell happened in Iowa?" Even if they announced a specific result, I think that would still be a good heading for it. What the hell happened in Iowa? Because the system's so weird. Okay, I see an AZ. Are you actually ready to come on? Waving your hands? Yes? Wave your hands in the air like you don't care?
I don't care, basically, because I'm a boy guy looking for fun, looking for trouble. Looking for all those things that boy guys look for.
Yeah. So as Locust Trooper, you're asking how long into the government we're going to get rid of the... They're not getting rid of it. They fucking love it. They're going to expand it. It doesn't matter that it's a bad terrible, cruel, unworkable idea. That fucking sums up the LNP. Bad, cruel, expensive, unworkable policies. They're just scumbags.
What are they going to get rid of?
No, what is I'm saying? They're not going to go well. We were talking about the cashless welfare card and how the government has a massive hard-on for expanding it to all welfare recipients, and it's fucking terrible.
They
It's
have
class
a
warfare.
massive hard-on. They've got a massive hard-on for expanding it to all of welfare. They want fucking only the things that up their economy to be paid for, and you can fuck off if you want anything for yourself. It's gorgeous. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking ugly.
You know, thank Christ for bank accounts and for tapper cards.
Do you want to hear the latest conspiracy with bank accounts? Because the government recently tightened the laws on cash transactions, basically making cash transactions of over $10,000 illegal, because they say only criminals.
Illegal,
yeah, they say only criminals transact cash in those volumes. To which a bunch of wholesalers and retailers said, "That's not true, you shitheads." And of course, libertarians really hate it. Government telling me what I can and can't do, and the conspiracy theory around it, because you know how, or maybe you don't know, but interest rates are historically low at the moment, like 1% or less than 1%. They're absurdly low, and the conspiracy theory is that the governments want to get rid of cash altogether and only have electronic transactions, of which the government can monitor everything. But then the conspiracy goes that would also allow the banks to instigate negative interest rates, namely the money that you are forced to have on their electronic systems is actually debited by the bank, saying we're actually taking 1%, 2% of your money just to which is honestly not beyond the realm of possibility. It's the little paranoid types who are saying it.
No, it's not beyond the realm of possibility, and it could easily be instituted under emergency laws. Remember those emergency laws? I should have said it this way. Emergency law, because then that way it frames you better. Yeah. If I do it this way,
we do that,
on the other one,
we'll jointly do air quotes.
Emergency laws. In fact, we'll get ready. We'll get used to that. All right. And emergency laws. In fact, we'll do that a lot. Over the coming years.
We have mastered half an air quote each. We'll be doing air quotes
and
tonight.
we'd be going air quote fucking emergency laws. So don't ever forget that your government can be bringing your emergency laws at any time for any reason. What I love, and I love this,
yes,
is that after the First World War, the then Labor government, because the Whigs got kicked out, Labor government said there will not be conscription in this land again. Twice later, people are still saying, "Oh, there won't be conscription." There will be conscription in Australia at the drop of a fucking hat.
Whenever they want it. Yeah.
Young men and women will be put in green, given a gun, and say, "Point it fucking that way."
Yeah.
There's no fucking. There's even laws against conscription, which will be fucking overturned, fucking with a stream of piss. It's not even pretendies. So one of the things about this negative interest is they don't have to do negative interest, right?
Yeah.
All they have to do is they go, well, it's interest of 0.5%. It's very low. And the government says, and in order to sustain services, services. Oh, I can't stop but laughing when I say that. We will have to broaden our tax base by making it a system whereby you don't see it. It'll be a tiny little levy that you don't even see, and it'll be a 2%, a 2% scrape off the majority of transactions, so that you won't even see it. So they'll just take the take, and the banks will be in on it, and everybody's happy. You bet your life you are, because it basically makes your GST even bigger. And what's nice about it is, again, your rich people only make one transaction of 50 grand. Your poor people make 50 transactions of $2.
Yeah. His Music Aviator invokes the Jar Jar Binks quote for emergency powers. Mr. Proposed the Senate to give immediate emergency powers to Supreme Chancellor Palpatine.
Absolutely.
Apparently, other people are getting an echo. I'm not getting an echo.
I'm getting an echo.
You are?
I am, or you are?
No, people saying in chat they're getting, hey, Robert Gonzalez, how are you, man? So I see a couple questions. Oh, I noticed Justin's having a bit of fun in Canberra. Is along with all these caucuses which started, today, the last 24 hours, expats, people overseas get to vote, and Justin's running a booth for the presidential primary in Canberra. It's going to be at a polling.
Well done, Justin.
That's a bit of fun.
So, okay, so they're running around all around the world, giving a bit of the international UN, or they're giving it a bit of or a bit around Australia. I don't know what's going on.
Well, no, that's just about because registered voters get to vote in these primaries, and so if you're an American in Australia but a registered voter, it's an absentee vote.
And so you can sit there high on with a card table and a sign. Basically come on down with see 3 bits of cardboard done really well with texter and crayon. Gone. But and go registered and go little at the end, so you could get the last little letters in. Tar vote here.
Yeah, and Justin, I hope you're introducing them all to democracy sausage as well. That's what needs to happen.
Democracy sausage. If there's no sausage sizzle there, then it shouldn't be up.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be there. It's an Australian law.
Yes,
there's laws in Australia.
I feel really ripped off if you ever go to an Australian polling place and there's no sausage. That's just like, what the fuck?
There's riots. There's fucking riots.
Yeah.
Because you get through the big fucking lines and you go out the back and there's no fucking sausage sizzle.
Yeah.
And then you go into the place, shit in your hand, and throw it into the fucking what do they call the markers? The fucking administrators. And then you throw over the polling places because they're all paper anyway. Burn them, burn the results, punch on. People are going, why are you punching on? And then it takes one person to say, no sausage sizzle, and it's school gets burned down, cops come, fire come. And they're going, for fuck's sake, slow down. Taste. What are you doing? No sausage sizzle. And then the fucking cops start firing their guns. The fucking bloody fireys start running their truck around inside the school, starting to burn things down. Well, they would know how. You've got to have a sausage sizzle.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, so Justin's correcting me, it's technically not absentee voting. US expats are counted as like a state. All overseas voters, their caucus system's weird. But and actually, speaking of voting, as Jacob points out, Barnacle Joyce tried a spill motion against the leader of the Nats and lost. That guy's ego is just amazing that he thinks he should be allowed in a leadership role after being such a colossal fuck up.
Okay. So he called he must have called the spill.
Yeah, well, see what happened. What drove it is the deputy leader of the Nats got caught up in some. Well, no, she was actually directly involved in a sports rorts affair, basically funneling millions of dollars of funding that's supposed to be merit based into marginal LNP seats. Like such a blatantly fucking illegal thing to do, which they're still refusing. And they refused. Scotty from marketing was refusing to sack her, and then they ended up on a technicality because apparently she gave money to a gun club that she was a member of, and it hadn't been declared. It's and so she lost her cabinet role. She's still in thing, but somehow that lost her job as deputy leader of the Nats, and so they did a full spill, and Barnacle challenged McCormack and lost, but his fucking ego thinking he should have a leadership role after his fuckery, I don't know. But yes.
But isn't he still a New Zealander?
No. He did have to resign his seat, fix up the paperwork, and then rerun. And they dropped him into a safe seat, and he won. Oh. Yes. Yes. But he's fucking ego. Speaking of ego, Robert. Sorry, I do answer questions, Robert. There were just lots of different questions to answer. Robert wants to know if I support someone for the US presidential candidates. And I do. Again, people with good memories will remember me favouring Elizabeth Warren as a candidate, but I've gone off her because basically she's too corporate. She's like, oh no, I'm a capitalist. Oh no, I'm not going to upset the billionaires. And so I thought, well, Bernie Sanders is the only one who's going to fucking shake things up. So I lean my support towards Bernard Sanders these days because he's, likely to fuck shit up a bit. And policy-wise, he's absolutely solid as far as I'm concerned. It's interesting. I don't think I agree with him on everything, but broadly, I think his policy positions are better than any of the other candidates. So I've swung from Warren to Sanders, essentially. My lovely dame, hello, we're chatting. And as Jeremy says, it's political agenda, high on the topic. Who should have got the job in the Nationals? I mean, dude, who should lead the Nationals? Should it be a shit sandwich made with horse shit, or should it be a shit sandwich made with pig shit? I honestly do not see any difference or any value in whoever the fuck heads up the National Party. It's absolutely meaningless.
What am I going to do here? I've got to.
I don't know. What are you doing?
Sort this out.
I'm
trying to sort out my camera so that I'm not fucking bending over all the time.
Yeah.
There you go. That should be right.
Luke is asking, what about this Sam DeLuke? I don't know who that is. Luke. My lovely dame thinks you'll look out of it. Have you been getting sleep, young man?
Me?
Yes.
No.
No, that would explain that then.
Why would I sleep? Who's sleep? I think the party was Greek. Didn't like him. I was up working last night.
Yeah. You were working?
Yeah, up last night on us.
Good man.
So I can't be scolded for not sleeping.
being asked about Sam DeLuc, who I've never heard of. So I looked him up. He's a Liberal MP from South Australia. He's just returned to Parliament for the first time since his inappropriate conduct claims. South Australian Equal Opportunity Commissioner says she cannot reveal if she's received any formal complaints against Liberal MP Sam DeLuc, who is facing claims of inappropriate behaviour against his parliamentary colleagues. There you go. He's accused of slapping MLC Connie Benares on the backside and making inappropriate comments to parliamentary staffers at a crossbench Christmas party in December.
You'd have to be four kinds of fucking idiot, wouldn't you?
He got pissed at the Christmas party and got a bit handsy.
Yeah, it's that, right? You're in the middle of the fucking Me Too movement, all right? Yeah. When anyone with a fucking email and a set of breasts can fucking destroy your career, and you're fucking starting to grope ass, you know, which is the wrong, okay?
Yes.
That's the wrong, okay? Yeah. And then you're all of a sudden in this firestorm of fucking communicative fucking you know, put your dick in that blender, and then fucking, you know, a woman will do anything you want as long as you got them grabbing by the pussy. Well, try and say that now, Trump. See how far that'll fucking take you, cockhead.
He won't say that to camera, but the fact he was recorded saying it, as we know, hasn't hurt him at all. I kind of think if he said it on camera, it might hurt him, but obviously the fact that he has said it beforehand. Oh, and then good. In other spill news, Jacob's asking, do we think Dutton's going to go for a spill again? People are spreading rumours that Dutton's been counting heads and reckons he's got numbers. I don't see it happening. I think the concept is hilarious.
He's just the walking death.
Yeah, but his ego is such, he doesn't get that. He is completely unaware of the extent to which he is hated, that he's electoral poison. He's more deluded than Tony Abbott was, because Tony Abbott...
That's really getting there, man. That's fucking getting there. I saw a fucking great...
popular support.
I saw a great paper picture caption, and it was after the spill, and Dutton was walking away pissed off, and of course ScoMo was walking in going, oh, I'm the kid with the candy, and the caption was group work, how it feels when you've done all the work and the other group member gets all the credit. And I just thought that is fucking perfect, and we'll wear that for the next few years, and didn't we? Ow. It hurts me when I sit down. But when Dutton gets in, it'll be good, because then we'll know true Gestapo hate.
Oh, yeah. An absolute racist thug with clear totalitarian tendencies. Like, clearly loves.
But at least we'll know where we stand.
Oh,
At least we'll know where we stand. With ScoMo, it's all, you know, Jesus loves you, give me 10%, I'll cut your balls off.
Yeah.
Okay. With Dutton, it'll be, I'm going to cut your balls off. Didn't you want 10%? I own your 10%. I'm going to cut your balls off. You know, things like, tell me what I want to know. Well, no, you're not getting out of the room alive. Tell me what I want to know. But you're not getting out of the room alive. Tell me what I want to know. It's, you know, it's Dutton, right? Actually, you know, I have a friend, and I'm going to say a friend. I'm not going to tell you who he is. He's a friend, who I worked with many years ago. And he works with an organisation that is constantly in opposition with Mr. Dutton. And he basically has to go out and disagree with Dutton and basically give it a bit of, why are you killing children? And
Yes.
Dutton goes, "Oh, because we're not." And then my friend goes, "Well, in that case, why are you killing children?" And then
Yeah.
Dutton goes, "Well, you can't prove it." "That's because you've put a media and military blackout on both of the 3 islands you've got." "3 islands?" "Yes, children. There's a third island." "What's its name?" "You're not allowed to know." "Where is it?" "You're not allowed to know, but you'll guess it's in between fucking Indonesia and Australia." Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty easy guess, right? Because there's fucking about 300 islands in around there that, have like running water in an airfield. So yeah, there's another island that they're putting it on that no one knows about, which is really convenient for Dutzo. And
Yeah.
they treat children like shit and they die. Um, you know, fuck, don't be a refugee in Australia or come by plane,
Yeah.
because 60,000 refugees come by plane and
Yes.
another 100,000 immigrants come by plane,
Yeah.
and asylum seekers make up half of them. So don't get on a boat, fucking take your 50,000 bucks of gold and buy a plane ticket. And fuck, you'll be right. Get whatever documentation you can. They'll stop you at the border and go, "Please, Jesus, give us asylum because we're all going to get killed." And they'll take your side and don't go on a boat.
Yeah. But it's weird, like, Labor are so set on out racisting the LNP because they're such fucking cowards. And I think it's Christina Keneally in particular who's taken up the stick and is, again, because Labor is too fucking gutless to stand up against the prison camps for asylum seekers. So they're actually trying to take it further and saying, oh, you know what? Dutton's obsessively focused on people coming by boat when, as you say, thousands and thousands of people come by plane. What about the plane people? And you just want to say to her, shut the fuck up. That's just, you think you're scoring points. You're just deepening the racism in the policy. And it's just, yeah. And what do you think Dutton's going to do? If you pressure Dutton enough to say, hey, a lot of people are coming to seek asylum, but they're coming in by plane. Do you think Dutton's going to say, "Oh, I don't care," or he's going to say, "Good idea, I'm going to attach electrodes to the genitals of everyone who comes in on a fucking plane and get them to promise they're not here trying to seek asylum"? It's just like, you can't out fascist a fascist. It's absolutely ridiculous.
That's true. Yes.
Robert asking what country I'm talking about. This is Australia. Australia's deeply, deeply racist asylum seeker policies that Donald Trump loves. Donald Trump thinks what we do is awesome, and he wants to do the same thing. Basically, lock desperate people up on a prison island for years and years and years and treat them worse than they were treated in the war-torn country they fled from, just to teach them a goddamn lesson. It's
What,
pretty.
like Gitmo?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Or a few other
Gitmo.
islands. America's got some other islands. There's lots of islands off
It's like
mainland.
the idea of Gitmo. I love
Yeah,
Gitmo. Do you know what I love? The fact that Cuba and America hate the fuck out of one another, but that a very large chunk of Cuba has a massive fucking American Navy base on it, and everyone
yep,
ignores that.
yeah. It is
Everyone just ignores that,
absolutely surreal. I agree. It's
right? During the whole fucking nuclear crisis, during the whole everything, it's like, "Oh yeah, but there's this naval base. Don't worry about it."
yeah, it's very
"Oh yeah,
funny.
we hate fucking Cuba and we hate America, but do you want to pay rent?" "Yeah, sure, man, no worries."
Yeah,
It's like, what the fuck? Why would you allow an American base on your soil? And
yeah.
why
It's
would the
very odd.
American base not just fucking roll over Cuba? It's like, no, that'd be impolite.
Hmm.
I just don't understand that.
Yeah, it is
But
very odd.
go Gitmo.
Yeah,
Apparently, though, it's a fairly formalish place. When you go there as a Navy individual,
yes.
it's it's a fairly formal-ish place. You get off the boat, you do things, you clean the boat, you fix the boat, get on the boat, you fuck off.
Yeah.
And mind you, when you go to not Tierra del Fuego, what's the Tierra del, the one up
Oh,
in the Indian Ocean? You know
oh
the one
Christ,
I'm
my
talking about.
geography is terrible. It's like all those
Anyway,
things that
up
are like,
there,
Americans can't find Ukraine on a map. I would be fucking hard pressed. My geography is terrible.
my
Um,
geography is fucking awesome. You tell me a country, I'll tell you where it is, except for Tierra del Diego. Diego. Um, and basically, they call it Gilligan's Island with guns. It's a
ah,
massive. Hey,
I was just laughing at Gilligan's Island with guns.
yeah, it's a massive joint navy and Air Force base. So you can imagine everyone gets on just fine.
Yeah.
Uh, and they launch attacks pretty much anywhere. From there, sort of you can imagine anything long range goes from there all the way sort of up. Imagine up through India, and then go through Russia, go through China, and then go everywhere over Arabia and
Right.
into Europe. Okay, so there's tankers there. You know, when you go and see satellite footage, there's always 4 or 5 B2s there. There's fucking F-117s for days.
Yes.
It's fucking miles of them, not even sitting under sheds. The 4 B2 Spirits sitting under sheds are the ones they're fueling and bombing up, and they're
Mm,
sitting under sheds because they don't want the fuel or the bombs to explode. The ones
mm,
sitting out not under the car parks, carports, are basically just there waiting to get in turn. Um, Effectively, yeah, it's a very, very, very bombable place, and it's
very
English.
bombable.
It's
Yeah.
owned by the English and rented out to the Americans
Okay.
at a cost of $6 billion a year.
Nice.
Um, because at the end of the time that the Americans want to just leave, which is no time in the future, at the time they want to leave, all of the reconstructive work will be left to the British. And at the moment, the reconstructive work is phenomenal. Can you imagine? It's now about 40 years of
Yeah.
marine fuel, aviation fuel, fucking many runways, many fucking deep harbor. Because what it is, it's an atoll. It's a big fuck off
Yeah.
atoll. And so the atoll has a big fuck off hole in it,
Okay.
but not much of one. So the ships can come
Okay.
into this atoll and it's a completely calm ocean and deep as fuck. So you can basically bring um, aircraft carriers in there and line them up next to the dock,
Okay.
um, which is fuck me convenient. Um, and there's lovely flat areas and long. It's an atoll, so there's
Yeah.
long, thin strips that are
Yes.
fucking useless unless you want to land big fuck off jets on them or big fuck off fast jets on them,
Right.
and very convenient.
That does sound
So
convenient.
yeah, so basically, you can land anything on it. Um, the every time the Navy wants something in a big hurry, the Air Force ships it in a big hurry.
Mm.
Then they transfer it to a Navy plane, and the Navy plane takes it out to an aircraft carrier. another little plane takes it out to the particular boat. You must excuse me for just a moment.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be back.
All right. 80s had to run off here. I didn't notice. That's an interesting question, Robert. Do I think his money in politics is about the bombing US does in many countries? I don't know that there's a direct link. It's just been a very weird fixture of US foreign policy since W to just be constantly fucking drone bombing people. W sort of went mad for it. Obama ramped it up. And I was amazed that Trump actually managed to ramp up the bombing even more than Obama. And that gets basically no press coverage that's still going on. It's very weird. I just Justin was asking what I thought a Bernie Sanders presidency would be like. I think that's a good question because I think if nothing else, a Bernie Sanders presidency would be interesting, possibly in the old proverb sense, reputed to be saying from some Chinese philosopher or other, may you live in interesting times. And it's unclear whether that's a blessing or a curse, because the Sanders would not just be fighting against the Republicans with his agenda. He would be fighting against the establishment of the Democratic Party who don't like his radical policies. As he says, starts shit-talking billionaires, the power brokers in the Democratic Party are like, no, fuck, we love their money. Stop shit-talking them. So I think Sanders would likely face as much hostility from Democrats in Congress and Senate as he would from Republicans. But I think he'd have to go hard. I think he'd just have to go hard the whole way. Like, put forward really quite radical plans and then shit all over the Democrats if they try and block him. Like, try and whip up massive public support. And Sanders has massive public support, and basically shame and browbeat the Democrats into supporting his platform. Be very interesting. So, Locust Trooper, you did the research on the cashless card and apparently doesn't apply to disability pension. Till we try to properly throw in a yet. I'm sure you're correct at the moment. But like I said, the two prongs of the government trying to force as many people as possible off disability payments onto New Start, and also just generally being arseholes, I think they'd have people on disability pensions in their sights. As Jeremy, you missed VTOL aircraft, vertical takeoff landing aircraft. Some aren't, like Harriers, still in service. This is not that big on military hardware, but yeah, one of the more famous vertical takeoff landing aircraft were the Harriers. They're not the only ones, but yeah, I suppose the hardware in the military is saying, oh, AIDS's back. He's waving at me. Look at him. Where is he? Add him to the stream.
He's
there he
right
is.
there. And I can tell you that the Harrier Aviate C will be coming online next year because the McDonnell Douglas never going to be finished is not ready. And the Harriers fucking kick ass. Improvements include no longer will it be capsule started. It will have an even bigger wingspan. It will carry more fuel. It will go faster. Rumors are that it's going to have super cruise. Rumors. Rumors are that it's going to have a second engine. Rumors. Rumors are that it is going to. There's this new kind of engine, which takes RP2, which is, the
Yeah.
normal jet engine fuel that everyone uses.
Yeah.
It takes RP2 and it cracks it
Yeah.
into a different form of fuel.
Mm.
Is rumor, and it's also the rumor that that's what it uses for supercruise. And essentially,
Oh,
what it does is it puts more hydrogens next to one another and kicks out the carbons as methane, and that burns anyway.
yeah.
And so basically, you've got this woomph power surge
Yeah.
for no extra fuel cost. The cost is heat.
Okay.
And you're going pretty quick anyway, so fucking whatever. You're leaving the heat behind. Of course, heat-seeking missiles are going, that's warm. But apparently you're going so fast it doesn't matter. Trade
Okay.
off, trade off, trade off. Anyway, so having a very fast, very low, very quick to stop
Right.
Harrier would
Yeah.
be quite awfully inconvenient for an approaching enemy force.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, one of the more disappointing things to see as you've brought a 3 or 4 companies of men over, just about over a hill, is to
Yeah.
see 1 or 2 Harriers pop up over the hill.
Yeah.
That's disappointing
Yeah.
because they can unleash a lot of hurt,
Yes.
and do regularly.
Mm.
Well, because after the Falklands War, because
Yeah.
everyone said the Harrier's a piece of shit.
Mm.
It was just a an English wank, and the whole thing was it's there because the Russians are going to blow up all the air bases, and
Yeah.
it's a response to that. You can land anyway, you can take off anywhere. Well, fuck. Guess what? You're going to need a whole team of people to service the fucking thing. Where are they going to come from? Are they just going to magically not be on the base when it gets blown up? Or are they going to magically be on a truck? Or are they going to magically be in a helicopter going somewhere?
Yeah.
So, what a joke. Unless there's 3 people and a dog that can service it, you're fucking useless. Well, then they had the Falklands War and they stuck these things on what we call now a pocket carrier. And they held off the entire Argentine Air Force, and they they missed 2,
Yeah.
and they effectively bombed the shit out of most of the Argentine Navy,
Yeah.
uh, and they protected all of the fleet, and did ground attacks. They were basically in the air 24 hours a fucking day. They had to do shift work of the
Yeah.
pilots. They eventually had to go, right, you guys have to have 16 hours off because you're not sleeping and we can't give you any more speed because
Yes.
it's getting ridiculous.
You had too much
Um,
go juice.
yeah, too much go juice and you'll start hitting the wrong buttons. Go to bed. One of these guys hadn't had a shower for 4 days,
Yeah.
and he came into the briefing room, and one of the officers said, "What's that smell?" And his
Oh
flight
God.
said, "Oh, it's him." He says, "Well, what's going on?" "Oh, he hasn't had a shower." "Why haven't you had a shower?" "I haven't had time, sir." Give me your logs." "Oh, bloody hell. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, bloody hell. Have you eaten?" "Not today, sir." "Oh, okay, bugger this. You're not on this mission." But no, no, no. We'll get someone else." "There is no one else." "Well, we'll do it with less." And they did it with less. And
Yeah.
that was the other thing. They kept on doing it with less and less and less. So at the end of the war, the Americans go, "We'll have a few of those.
Yeah.
Except we don't want that. We want it in this shape, and we want it bigger, and we want it more growly, and we want it to do this and this, and all that thing you do with the whole um, takeoff and all the dancing and all the cool stuff. We'll have all of that."
Yeah.
And they had all of that, and they called it the Aviate-A. Then they had the Aviate-B, which
Yeah.
the Marines have. It's a perfect Marines plane because what it can do is go in further into the coast to put the hurt on, or it can hover around the troops doing an opposed landing,
Yeah.
getting rid of the opposed. And effectively, they can be anywhere and they can be called up going, I'm in the shit. Can you come and help me out? Yes. And they
Yeah.
pop across because they don't have to be millions of miles away. They can actually just be floating around. And if they run out of fuel, the next 5 come off the pocket carrier. They don't have to catch up with a fuel tanker in the air. They can go straight back onto the pocket carrier, get fueled up, bombed up, and go. They don't traditionally, the carrier pilots don't even get out of the bloody cabin. Sorry,
Yeah.
cockpit. They just hand
Yeah.
over their bags
Yes.
of unfortunate waste,
Yes.
and then they get new bags and a
Yeah.
sandwich, which is great. They get the new bags, and then they get a sandwich and a cup and a thermos of coffee, and that's lunch. And
Yeah.
off
That's
you go,
fair.
fucking eating your
Yeah.
lunch and
Fair.
shooting
That's
people.
probably
And so yeah, they keep the Harriers in the air for
fair.
hours and hours, and they're cheap. I didn't
Yeah.
know this. I would have thought the Harriers was bloody expensive. No, they're cheap as fuck.
Comparative thing,
The
I guess.
yeah, the bloody Harriers that the Marines have finished with because they have ratings. You're not allowed to own a thing that has more than so many thousand flight hours on it, and it's just the way militaries go. You
Yeah.
know how you get government auctions for police cars,
Yes.
and you can buy a police car for like $180, and they've not been chipped, and you can drive them 220 kilometers per hour,
Yeah.
which you shouldn't do at home.
Yeah.
Nobody should do that.
Like the line from
Anyway,
the Blues Brothers. Why'd you buy a cop car? It's got a cop engine, cop shocks, cop brakes. You can
exactly.
pound the shit out of it, basically.
Yeah, you fucking kick it in the guts and put the hammer down, and it's all over. So basically, these Harriers then go to the ROTC,
Yeah.
which is, it's the, sorry, what do they call it? National Guard. And then
Yeah.
the National Guards kick the shit out of them for another 10, 15 years. And then they go to the ROTC. And then by the time they finish with the ROTC, there's bits falling off them.
Yeah.
Then they get patched up and
Yeah.
sold to other countries as a frontline fighter.
Yeah. I actually
Like
looked it
some of
up.
the
Yeah.
patch, sorry?
So I looked it up. The Marines are intending to retire the last of their Harriers by 2025, but anything could happen between now and then. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're very long service things since like the fucking 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. I'm just noticing some. Oh, not so much. What do they say on Q&A? Not so much a question as a comment. Fox thinks I should do a halftime cocktail called a drunk gardener because it appeared when he looked up Iowa cocktails. I looked it up. There are a few variants on it, and basically, they all involve some sort of veggie. One has cherry tomatoes and salt. One has like capsicum, like squeezed capsicum to get some juice out of them, and this one has carrot juice. So they all have some sort of vegetable juice in them, which I'm not that keen on. But I might make a variant of it because the Ohio version is the one with the tomatoes. Sorry, not Ohio, Iowa. This has cherry tomatoes, salt, gin, vermouth, Saint Germain. I might put something else in to substitute for tomatoes. I don't know. But Robert, you're asking, do I think the US killed the Iranian president? Sorry, not president. He may have been president one day, General Soleimani, because he was doing a peace mission. No, I don't think that's what's going on. I've read a little bit about it, and it just seems some random fuckery. Actually, if you're interested in some views on that, I actually did a podcast on that about a week ago with a friend of mine who's actually Iranian, and was just like because he was saying that unsurprisingly, it is a very big topic of conversation with Iranian expats. Like, what the fuck is America doing? Yeah, basically illegally killing the number one military guy from Iran, hitting him with a drone strike while he's in Iraq. So not just killing the guy when he's not in a combat zone, but actually launching a missile strike on a third party sovereign state. It's illegal on a number of levels. But that seems to have quietened down. Like Iran just lobbed a few missiles as a response on a military base. And then they actually explicitly said, all right, if you stop fucking around, we'll stop fucking around. Okay? Just, keep that shit on the down low, because you don't want this to spiral out of control, because if you retaliate again, it will spiral out very quickly.
Can you grab a couple of boxes of nangs as well, please?
All right. Sorry, AD's organising things on the home front. That's all good.
Oh, shit, sorry. I'll just turn myself off.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was on. I'm just turning myself off.
Yeah. So, yes, AD's got to organise shopping by the sounds of it. So, yeah, there's... If you want real in-depth stuff, like the podcast I did was not really in-depth. It was from the point of view of ordinary Iranians. If you want really in-depth analysis from someone who knows a bit more in terms of podcasts, I would recommend, let me see, I'm going to find the exact episode. There's a guy called Robert Evans who does a couple of podcasts. He does one that's usually very funny called Behind the Bastards, where he tells you about the worst people in history. And if I go and look back at, it was a recent episode, I think. Back at 8th January. Just an episode called Qasem Soleimani and the Bastardful History of US-Iran Relations. It's very interesting in terms of background. AZ, you should wave at me if you're ready to come back. You're ready to come back. There he goes. There he is. So
here he is.
I'm just doing podcast recommendations. One is Behind the Bastards, to find out about Soleimani. And he's also involved in another one that's about the current US electoral cycle. It's called Worst Year Ever, because they expect this to be super fucked and be the worst year ever, essentially. There's an episode that he did on that podcast on the 9th of January. So, and Robert Evans is a journalist. Actually, I think he tends to call himself a conflict journalist, because he spent a lot of time in war zones, Iraq and Syria. And so he's got a lot of first-hand experience on the sort of fuckery that's happening in that part of the world. And he did a bit of research on the history of US-Iran relations generally and the career of Soleimani specifically. So if you want a bit of depth on what was behind that, that's worth listening to. Fun thing is maybe what the motivation was, because it's impossible to know from the outside what was happening, because by some standards, this guy was being shaped up to maybe be president of Iran, maybe to be supreme leader. But another interesting theory is, because he'd been doing much more public appearances for a year or two, that it was actually a deliberate thing to get him martyred. So he would, if he kept making his opinion, his whereabouts known, because the Americans were pretty antsy about him. If he kept making his whereabouts known, there was a suspicion that the Americans would eventually strike, and it would be a politically potent thing in Iran if he was martyred. But that's really quite wild speculation. But who actually knows? Who knows which this is? Oh, Fox thinks I need to go through my past streams and find cocktails to put for my upcoming YouTube cocktail cocktail channel. No, I'm all about moving forward. It's onwards and upwards, and create new things. You seem really confused by something, AZ.
I'm trying to make a thing go little. So,
Okay.
okay, here's the thing.
Yes.
Right. So I've got Diego Garcia, which was the
Okay.
no, that's not it.
No, that's not it.
Diego uh, Del.
Oh,
It's
the island
Diego
you're talking
Garcia,
about.
anyway.
Anyway, yeah,
All
it's, you
right,
know,
with the
Locust
whole
has
big.
been.
It's Gilligan's Island with guns.
Yes.
Anyway, so they got this huge atoll, and I always thought it was an atoll. No, it's like, okay, you got to imagine a skinny piece of land, and you look at a skinny piece of land, and you go, oh, yeah, couldn't fit much on that, and then you actually look at the scale of the fucking thing, and the littlest bit's like 25 kilometers wide,
Yeah.
and it's fucking enormous, right?
Yeah.
You could walk around it in a day, make that 8.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's like miles and miles and miles to put, land.
Yeah.
They've even bridged a bit,
Yeah.
because it was just convenient to get it out the side.
Yeah.
The inner part of the atoll is obviously a naval base, which you can stick
Yeah.
any naval you want. Thanks.
Yeah.
Training areas, and the commissary is just huge.
Yeah.
They've got 3 on base elementary schools and
Yeah.
4 high schools.
Yeah.
Jesus, a military base is big when you've
Yeah.
got to have multiple schools. And
I'm going to
yeah.
share something
Mm,
because it's pretty freaking amazing. Now you got the name of it, Diego Garcia, which Musical Aviator knows it. Diego del Fuego near the Falklands. There you go. Look what it
yeah,
looks like. It's amazing. I think that's what's sharing now. It's like just that
that's
little
one.
strip of an island with water in the middle of it. It's
Yep,
absolutely amazing.
yep, that's right. It's fucking enormous.
There's the landing
You look at
strips.
that,
Yeah.
and it's a landing strip. There's fucking about 20 of them, and you just go, shit.
Just
And then there's
geographically,
got,
it's amazing.
and then you've got deep water ports in the middle. You've got
Yeah,
dock after dock after dock, and then you've got bloody domiciles. You've got so you got locals, right? There's
yeah,
literally local people who live there.
yeah,
The indigenous.
yeah,
Well, we know how to deal with them. It was an a British island to start with. Well, it still
yeah,
is. They have one British flag up every day. The rest of it's
yeah,
US. And they initially found the island with indigenous on it. The
yeah.
indigenous didn't last long.
No, they never
That's
do.
how it works.
Mm.
And then
All right, you keep filling
yeah,
people in. I'm gonna do a variant of a drunk gardener cocktail while you lay
hmm.
some truth bombs on the peeps.
So basically, the Brits found this place and thought, you know what? It's nothing to nowhere, but I reckon, says the Brits in the 1700s, I reckon if we stocked this place just right, we would have a very convenient jump off point to Batavia, that would be Indonesia, and India, and China. It'd be a very, very convenient jump off point. And if you were running from each of these areas and you got hit by a storm or damage or something shit, or the French, you could run to this place and be restocked and refettled really easy. They basically put shipwrights out there, and they put stores and stores and stores and stores and stores and stores. Then the Americans come along later and say, fuck, this is awesome. There's stores and stores and stores, and there's friendly people, and this is all set up ready to go. And so they went to the English in the 1800s and said, "Hey, English, can we like pay yous money and share your off of island?" British said, "Yeah, you can. You got to bring your own." And so the Americans went, "Yeah, and we'll build some ports, and that'll be good." And they went, "Yeah, that'd be good." And then World War II happened, and the American and the British went to Diego de Sa and went, "We're going to build airstrips as fuck, and put
It's got those
fuck off
long
big
straight bits.
planes on
It's
them."
great. Yeah.
Hey,
It's got
there were
those
3 or
long
4.
straight bits. Yeah.
Yeah, they got heaps of long straight bits, um, and they did.
Yeah.
And it turned into a massive signalling station,
Yeah.
also a jump off point. It's
Yeah.
not, it wasn't logistically very important in
Yeah.
the Second World War, but it was really useful. Like
Yeah.
if you were on your way to upfuck Japan
Yeah.
from around Europe or Africa or that way. If you're in the Indian Ocean, you're on your way to
Yeah.
upfuck Japan.
Yeah.
Come in, grab some fuel, grab some food, turn around, go the other way, and then all of a sudden, you know, these islands going, oh, they can't be last much longer. They're on their last legs, and there's 4 boats full of shit and
Yeah.
things that go bang, firing at them. And they're going, "This is a shit day. I'm having a shit day. You having a shit day, Toji?" Fucking yes, Akira. I'm having a fucking shit day. We were winning there for a sec. Yeah, we're not winning now. So it was find out it was a great jumping off point, and then of course jet
Yeah.
aircraft came and nuclear boats came, and they went all of a sudden. Diego del Sea,
Yeah.
I am saying that right. Yeah, basically becomes now your central hub pivot point to take on all of basically Northern Asia, right into Russia,
Yeah.
fucking India, Pakistan, Iraq, Iran, definitely Iraq,
Yeah.
fucking all the way into the Mediterranean and back. You could take on Israel if you want. You don't really have to. But
Yeah.
anyway, anywhere up and through Israel, over to Egypt and then back to Diego del Ser. And yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for coming. And that's just your outbound and in your bomber fleet. If you want to protect them with a fucking fighter escort, the
Yeah.
gorgeousness of it is the fighter escort only has to take you as far as India, and the ones from the Mediterranean can join up and then come along for the ride and then bring you back. And the fresh fighters from Diego Garcia fucking join up and bring you home. It's just
That's all
fuck.
good.
There's nowhere.
That's why they
Um,
like bases like that. Yes.
Yeah, there's just nowhere for you to
Yeah.
go. That's
Yeah.
why they don't fucking bother to put their
Yeah.
B2s under the carport. You're not getting near the place.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is you see fucking because it's beautiful clear ocean too. It's fucking gorgeous blue ocean. And
Yeah.
every now and again you see satellite photos and you see dark shapes like big dark
Yes.
whales that don't
Yes.
move
Yeah.
underneath the water, and there's usually 3 or 4 of them just
Yeah.
sitting under there with their little hats above, going,
Yeah.
"Hello,
Yeah.
hello, puzzle,
That sort
I'm
of
in the
action.
water,
Yes.
puzzle, puzzle."
Well, I'm going
And
to put the folks through this. I'm doing a slight
okay,
variation on the drunk gardener because I'm not going to put any actual fresh vegetables in it, but it's pretty straightforward. It's like a shot of gin. Don't even have to shake this because it's just stuff I can just mix. As the old shaken not stirred. This is elderflower liqueur, so about 3/4 of a shot of this, 30 mils of this. 40 mils of the gin, 30 mils of the elderflower. That said 30 mils of vermouth, and I've got a couple different variations of vermouth. I'm going to do this one. It's an Italian one, Puntamez, which apparently I just looked up means 1.5. Means it's like one part sweet vermouth to half a part dry vermouth, and it's very herbal. It's a very dark vermouth. And I was going to say hi, Lion Spider. Thanks for dropping in. And now comes the secret ingredient, the vegetable representative for it, my Ancho Reyes chili liqueur. I'm just putting a little bit of this in because it's pretty, the chili aspect of this is pretty goddamn serious, quite honestly. So, but that's the vegetable component, a chili. So I'm going to mix that. And also, Robert had a couple of questions. What do I think about RT News? It's that Russian news thing. It's a propaganda outlet. Do not trust anything you read on there. If you ever see anything on RT News that you think is interesting, find someone else corroborating it or ignore it. And he also asked, what do I think about the Green New Deal? Have you heard about the Green New Deal, the thing proposed by some of the more radical lefties in the USA? I think it's a good start because we clearly need radical action to A, avert climate catastrophe, and B, have some sort of economy, because if we don't do anything, the global economy will collapse as well.
Will
so
crash.
We need to completely change the economy. All right, now, and I do my sophisticated cocktail mixing with my finger.
Is that with the finger? Is that with the finger of destiny? Because
yes.
I have tried to get I have tried to get Angry to do that for me, and he won't. He won't. He said anything that touches my lips will not be anywhere. Ooh, how is that?
That's like, it's good. The again, the layers on that, the main flavor is coming from the Puntamez, which is very herbal, and unsurprisingly, the chili one, which is very chilly. But again, it's look, I might wuss out and put a little bit of. I'm gonna have another sip before I decide. I'm thinking I might wuss out and put a little bit of sweetener in it. God, it's got an almost, like, the bitterness has given it an almost coffee edge. I'm going to put it. It's pretty good, but because it's an experiment, I'm going to put a little bit of sweetener, my agave nectar, just a little bit, tiny bit, like a bar spoon's worth, and stir that again in the very sophisticated way. Because I've been looking at other cocktail channels on YouTube. I like the ones where they're just making drinks. They may be telling a story, but they're making drinks and telling you about drinks. And I thought, maybe there's thing, the really showy bartending where they throw bottles and shit. That's called flair bartending. And I thought, maybe I'd enjoy some flair bartending videos. I'll look it up.
You would. You would.
No, I wouldn't, as it turns out. Because, okay, you and I did the course. You learned to juggle. I think I'm the only person who ever graduated that course without learning to juggle. Basically, these flair videos on YouTube, and there are a lot of them, they have titles like World Championship, best routine ever. They are very average jugglers. You're sort of throwing cups and bottles, and they keep fucking dropping things. And the average street juggler would be embarrassed by this stuff that's on video on YouTube, claiming to be, best flair bartending ever. I mean, it's really fucking average. I got bored very quickly because, and also, I mean, I had sort of memories of that really cheesy 80s movie with Brian Brown and Tom Cruise, Cocktail.
Kokomo.
Yeah, Cocktail.
But Kokomo was the song.
Yes. The movie was cheesy as hell and made by people who really hated women. And but
look, everybody really hates women. I'm doing a thing on incels, and I understand it. Women, they've got breasts.
Oh,
and I don't know what that thing is, the front of their bum, but it's obviously evil.
Yeah. A tiny bit of sweetener was a very good idea.
How was that to work for you?
Just took the edge off it. It's not sweet at all. It just took the edge off it. Yeah, but their routines are pretty entertaining because they've got to be pretty quick. So these world championship ones, they do 7 or 8 minute rounds, and it only takes 60 seconds to make a fucking drink. So that means 6 or 7 minutes is them just fucking around throwing things, and it gets really boring. For me, it got really boring really quick. And in the movie Cocktail, you can't have someone just fucking around doing nothing for 8 minutes in a movie. So their routines of pouring and being showy and flary only go for about a minute. So it's all compressed into a minute, and it's much better. But I was amazed how much I did not like the Flair bartending videos. And then I saw one titled Japan's Best Bartender. And I thought, that ought to be good. Japanese are pretty good. And it was just weird, man. This guy does this freaky shit with too much eye contact. And it's like he's shaking a thing, going, a shake, a shake, a shake. And then they change the angle. So he's looking straight down the barrel with this creepy, smug, far too much eye contact again. And I was like, dude, you look like a child molester. Robert's saying RT News America is in New York by Americans. No, RT News is a fucking propaganda outlet. Absolutely untrustworthy. Doesn't mean everything they publish is a lie, but as an outlet, they're absolutely untrustworthy. My view would be never share anything from RT News that you can't get verified by a reliable news source. Because if they're the only one reporting it, it's almost definitely a lie. Do I do the live talk every night? No, the usual nights are Tuesday and Thursday, Australian time, for our live chats. And sometimes I will do one on the weekend as well, if I'm feeling so
Sometimes disposed. I will too, but sometimes I go, nah, doing it. Yeah. RT News is an interesting thing. It was started by Russia, because the RT means Russia Today.
Yes.
And it started by Russia in as a response to Fox. And you're in trouble when? Oh, we've just got to beat Fox. Oh, so it's just got to be shit then. Yeah. All right, just do shit then. Can we do anything we want? Oh, yeah, make it up. And every now and again you get fucking asteroids fucking splitting up the sky, and you just go, yeah, that's cool, breaking windows. And everyone's got dash cams, like boom. And what was weird was everyone's dash cams, you see this fucking thing going, I'm going to crash in the world, another Kamchatka, and all these dash cam drivers going, oh yeah, it's good. And there's one guy saying, oh yeah, I better get off the phone for a sec. Don't know, and he holds his window. Yeah. Have you ever been in a country road and the rocks come up and you hold your fist on the window? In case the rock comes up and hits your windscreen and doesn't break it. You get a little crack as opposed to a big one. Anyway, says, oh, just give me a sec. And him and his partner put the hand up to the window, and then boom, there goes the sonic boom. Takes his hand off the window, goes, yeah, okay, so, and goes straight back to the conversation like it was no big thing. And it's like, fuck, I hope there's an airbase near you, or you just got fucking no fucking care about anything, or your sunlight affective disorder.
Yeah, Russian dash cam footage is just the best because just the wildest shit happens in Russia.
This is amazing. It's just fucking amazing. I saw another one the other day. Okay, so there's this car going along. Another car fucking T-bones this car.
Yeah.
The guys get out and you think, fucking, here we go, fucking road rage. No, they both turn around, and then there's this naked woman fucking jogging fucking right through the fucking, and there's another two naked women jogging after her. And the two guys have crashed into one another, look at one another and go, fucking, when do you see that? Whew. And they look at each other's cars and go,
Oh,
I don't
well.
know.
Yeah.
They
Well,
write
what are you gonna
down
do?
shit. There
What are
you
you
go,
gonna
man.
do?
What are you going to do? Fuck. Were you looking? I wasn't looking. I was looking at that. Yeah, I was fucking looking at that too. And so the dash cam coming up and the dash cam stops. And our dash cam driver gets out and says to him, and they've all three of them like shake their fucking heads like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then they're looking at him saying, did you get all of that? Yeah, I got all of that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We need you. And they got his,
Yeah.
can you imagine taking that footage to the cops? Oh, yeah, it's a clear T-bone.
Yeah.
Oh, we know who's it for. Okay. Yeah. Righto. Okay.
Yes.
Well, we know who is it for. Okay.
Yeah.
That's another and a third.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's going to write this up? I think it's Yuri.
Yes.
I think it's Yuri's going to write this up. Is he still at lunch? Not for long.
Not for long.
Yuri, we've got one for you to write up, mate.
Yeah.
Let's go. Go out the back door. Go.
You remind me, I saw a video on Twitter the other day. I think it came from Italy. It was some sort of protest where a large number of women ran through a city nude. And the video's like taken on a phone, looked like from an apartment balcony overlooking this laneway where all the women were running through naked. And there was a lot of them. There were dozens of them. And some of them were holding their boobs as they ran. And this guy who was sharing the video is going, what's up with these women's priorities? Why are some of them covering their boobs and not their coochie? Don't they know what the most important thing is? And then there's just 100 replies from women along the lines of, why the fuck do men not know the first thing about women? So the holding the boobs isn't modesty. It fucking hurts when you run and your boobs go ka-chung, ka-chung, ka-chung. And it was a classic. This guy's thinking he's making some big insight. It's like, dude, how do you not know that? I'm a dude.
Go on.
I just say it was obvious why these women were holding their boobs as they run.
But you gotta then ask this guy, hey, fuckstain, why do you think women wear bras?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a modesty thing? Do you think it's a modesty thing, or do you think it's a comfort thing? Because I don't know about you, but when I'm wearing a truss, because I've decided there's a little bit too much weight down there and I can't sustain it anymore, and I wear Cecil's truss suspender, and it's been very good. Anyway, look, I've seen women run around with clothes on, holding their breasts, because basically it hurts as they bounce around. For fuck's sake, wake up. Look, do you know they've found in a really well-preserved gravesite, a Neanderthal gravesite, they found the very, very fragile textile remains of a woman who's basically got, it's effectively a cloth X on her chest, and it's a bra. It's basically a bra. And she's and they've remodeled it. And they found it's exactly the same as the Persian bras and the bras worn by the 16th century women. So the design keeps on being reinvented. Essentially, you go once round the side and once over this side and once over that side and once back, and then back over and tie. And there's your bra done. And nicely, you can slip a baby in between the two overfolds. Very convenient.
That is convenient.
Design.
Yeah. And I say hi to Bobo, who's just come in. Hopes we're both well. I'm well. How are you, AD?
I'm sort of well.
Sort of. You're shaping up. You were. It's like you're picking up steam. You were clearly a bit sleep deprived going in. You and your chronic pain and whatnot.
I'll probably be a bit more sleep deprived in a minute. Yeah, no, not that one. Keep going. I'm talking to you. I'm still talking to you.
Okay, good, man. So yes, I was looking up some of the stuff about because I'm a bit of a political tragic and looking up the thing with the Iowa caucus. It looks like by the time us folk in Australia wake up tomorrow morning, there will be an answer as to what the result was. Like I said, it was interesting. It appears that both the Sanders campaign and the Buttigieg campaign are essentially both claiming they did really well. Um, will be interesting to see. For no one's going to do anything radical. God, the way it's so needlessly complicated and quite frankly bullshit, the American system. But for those who don't know, there's over the next month there's a series more of these state level caucuses which aren't all that meaningful, but if someone does really badly in the first 3 or 4, does badly in all of them, then that's going to really limit their chances. And if someone does really well in 3 or 4 of them, that's going to really boost their chances. But about a month from now is one they call Super Tuesday. It's the first Tuesday in March, and they have these bloody things in. I'm looking it up, and to get it right, the exact states. The primaries on the one day happen in a whole bunch of states. Trying to work out exactly how many. 2016. What about 2020? That's what we want to know. Okay, so it's March 3rd. Now, this is all this mob having their primaries on the same day. Alabama, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Democrats abroad, which our man is part of, Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, and Virginia. So Super Tuesday is a big fucking deal. There's a very strong chance that after Super Tuesday, you will have a very clear idea of who's going to get the nomination. It's not necessarily a done deal, but it could be. It's all sorts of wild stuff. So this fucking it's like their election campaign starts 5 minutes after the previous election, and we have to put up with this shit for years.
See,
and
things that are bullshit.
Yeah.
The first thing that's bullshit is the electoral college.
Oh yes.
Because people say, oh no, they just rubber stamp. No, they fucking don't. And in 5 occasions in history, they have gone against the vote. Simply, they don't like who got in. Fuck them. Electoral college was set up so that if the people voted the wrong way, that clever thinking people could vote the right way. That was really, truly why it was set up. Second thing that bothers me is the first past the post voting system. They don't have a preferential voting system, which means basically that not only do your two parties basically have a stranglehold, which they would anyway. Trust me, they would anyway. But what it basically means is there's no dealing. There's no what's the word? Coming together at the middle, not conferencing. Jesus. When you have to deal, when you come to the middle, when you have to concessions. There's no concessions. There's no bloody conferencing. There's no concessions, and there's no bloody talking to one another about watering down your policy or strengthening some other policy. There's no deal making in front of the scenes, because if your minor parties say, I will give the major party what they want if they give me X, Y, and Z. You don't have to do that behind closed doors. You can
Yes,
do
you can
that
do
in
it in the
front of the
open.
press. You can do that right out in the open, and the major parties can go, yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to go here, here, and here. And the minor parties go, I can live with that if you give me blah. And the major parties go, done deal. And the other major party goes, just before you fucking sign that, I can give you X, Y, Z, A, B, B. Ooh, says the minor party. And what happens on voting day is you vote for the minor party. The minor party has not got enough votes to get in. So their votes go to their preferred party. Okay? Their preferred party gets their votes, and you count them up. Well, they don't get enough votes to get in. So their votes go to their preferred party. So you're getting chunks and chunks of votes that are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, going to the bigger and bigger parties. And so there's always this fight on before the election on the preferences deals. Who's going to get the preferences deals? And it means a lot, because it means policy. And you've got to shape your policy according to your preference deals. It also means that it keeps the bastards honest, and it's not a bit behind closed doors things. It's in front of the people thing. Everybody knows what they're getting, except if you vote the Greens, and everybody knows where your vote's going. There's an Australian sex party here. And they mean it.
They changed their name to the Reason
Oh,
Party.
the Reason Party. All right. So what they want to do is they want to make sex workers more transparent. They want to make the industry more transparent, basically to stop the slave. They want to and basically to give the girls a fucking fair fighting chance in the taxation department. They want the religions to be taxed. They want GLBT rights to be as matter of fact as everybody's rights. So you're not just talking about GLBT rights. That goes away. The rainbow flag is for heterosexuals as well. Every rainbow. Because they want GLBT to disappear. Go on.
Yeah. A little bit of trivia. The first person to use a rainbow flag and refer to Rainbow Coalition was Jesse Jackson, the Black American politician. And he meant as in all different skin tones will come together and will work together to end oppression. And he never really took off as a candidate. And someone in the LGBT community just went, rainbow, I like that. And they took the rainbow as a symbol, to which I'm sure Jesse Jackson was, but I did that first. But yes, no one ever really got on board with you, mate.
And initially, the GLBT's initial, I call them the initial kids now, because there's so many initials.
The alphabet kid.
I just like to say, how dare you? And people who are in the know will know what I'm talking about. So a lot of initials basically will be in the rainbow, but partly it was also the rainbow was supposed to mean heterosexuals, black, white, yellow, red, you name it. If
Yeah,
you are a
everyone.
human, you are in the rainbow, right? It's supposed to be everybody, except everyone hates fags. So they said, no, I don't want to be a rainbow. I want to do the missionary position on my woman and then beat her about and then make her do my dishes.
With the lights off, because it's perverse if you do it with the lights on.
That's right.
Just ask the Dalai Lama. I love every now and then telling people who kind of worship the Dalai Lama and think he's very enlightened and whatnot and go, that guy is such a fucking misogynist and has such mind-blowingly backward ideas on sex. In one of his books, he literally said, essentially, you can't do it during daylight hours because the whole naked body thing is shameful. And I've had hippies lose their fucking shit. And they go, where did you get that from? I said, from his book, which
Own
you
writings.
haven't read, you fucking piece of shit. It makes them go, oh, if only everyone could be Buddhas, they'd be peaceful. Well, hey, go to your friend Google and look up Buddhist Taliban or genocide in Rohingya and how the Buddhist forces of Myanmar or Burma, depending where your political persuasions lie, and how they waged, in the name of Buddhism, a fucking ethnic cleansing. So get fucked with your thing that Buddhism is pure and wonderful and lovely and nothing bad ever happens in the name of Buddhism, because it fucking does.
Exactly. I mean, bad things happen in the name of everything, and the quickest way to get a bad thing to happen is religion.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know, because there's two forms of Buddhism. There's theoretical, philosophical Buddhism and religious Buddhism. The religious Buddhism is 70% in by weight. I like saying that 70% by weight.
I like that. 70% by weight, yes.
By weight of your
Yeah.
Buddhism, and they worship the big guy.
Yeah.
Whether he's fat or whether he's thin, that's a cultural thing.
Whether he's presenting as male, whether he's presenting as female.
I seen this great show the other day of this fat chick who's recently married, and she's very happy of her life with this skinny ass. People are going, oh yeah, he's there for the visa. He's there for the fucking visa. As soon as you get that, he's fucked off. No, you can see him looking at his woman and going, oh yeah, I fucking brought this home. Yeah, check me out. Check my fucking woman. She's massive. Why? Because she's my fucking woman. And then, you go to places like Samoa and Fiji and places like that. And the women are fucking enormous, basically, because culturally, if your family feeds you,
The sign of wealth.
and you're big and fat, it's a sign of wealth. Your husband is wealthy enough to feed you properly, to overfeed you to the point where you are very wealthy and there's nothing wrong here, and effectively you're getting these poor doctors going, darling, you've got to lose weight. And these women are saying, well, what will they think of my family? They'll think that I'm that I'm impoverished and left out. And they're going, Jesus Christ,
Different
at least exercise.
Different cultural
and
funny thing.
One of the big things that they're trying to do in the islands, because you've got less people in the islands, you can reach them quicker, is they're trying to get big women to lift big weights, right? They're trying to get them to bulk muscles wise and to pound walk. And what that'll do is that'll keep them large, but it'll get them healthy because their muscles will be pounding underneath that fat, and it'll blow the fat out and it'll keep them large but healthy.
Yeah.
It'll turn him into weightlifter shot put throwers. You know what I mean? It's that kind of look.
The guy who that bloody is he Danish somewhere from Scandinavia who played the role of the character the Mountain on Game of Thrones. You see him with no shirt on, and he's Mr. Dad bod, but he's like one of the strongest men in the world. And but because he's not a show bodybuilder, he doesn't have all these rippling muscles, and he's quite soft and round, but terrifying amounts of muscle just under the surface. Like he keeps breaking records for weightlifting and various other feats of strength as well. He actually reminded me of a sci-fi book I read ages ago, and there's one character in it, and he's like a crime boss, and he's morbidly obese. And someone's saying like, no, like you need to understand with the technology you have, any combination of pills, surgery, and genetic engineering means no one has to be fat. Dude's making a statement. Like he's kept mobile with all these little anti-grav things that are lifting up his massive bulk. And it's a massive fuck you to everyone. It's going, do you actually realize I can do literally whatever I want? In a world with technology such that everyone can be whatever physique they like, this guy chooses to be massive and morbidly obese and move around with the help of anti-gravity things. And because it's a statement. It's like, fuck all of you. You are going to see me wherever I am. You're going to notice me in every room. I'm going to dominate every setting I'm in just so you never forget me. And I thought that was quite neat.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite neat. It is quite... Well, I'm, this is okay. I'm gonna spill my guts here for a bit.
Do it.
I'm having a lot of trouble getting noticed at the moment.
Okay.
One of the things I hate, all right? One of the things I hate, and one of the things that makes me very angry, and you should just ask a redheaded friend of ours, is to be unacknowledged. If I'm unacknowledged, I lose my fucking mind. If I say something to you and you don't acknowledge, look out, because my Zippo will be starting to burn you down. Okay. And the other thing that I get really shitty about is being talked over the top of, especially when I'm answering the question that they asked. I just want to punch. You ask me a question, I'm answering the question, and then blah, talk over the top of that. And it's like, well, fuck, you asked me the question, cocksuck, and you can't be bothered to listen to the answer. Now I want to take my fingers and poke you in the eyes. But, life goes on. And so I'm having a lot of trouble getting noticed right now. And I don't think there is anyone I know that has less of a time, less of a problem getting noticed than me. What the fuck else do I have to do to get noticed? Because I'm seeing my friend angry, not coming up with an answer. Can you think of anything that I would need more to do to get noticed? Can you think of anything?
I don't know. You're actually pretty good at getting noticed.
That's what I would have thought. The person who fails to acknowledge me. That would be correct. Talented. That would be correct.
Well, I'm sure you've been bitten many times by AIDS.
Oh, so many times. So many times. That poor bugger has gone through the ringer so many times. Yeah. The times I've had to shout, And the times I've had to shout and go, oh, I've got to fucking muster a shout now. It's important for education, but no, come on, do it. You're doing this. Muster a shout. Rah, 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 rah. I'm going, do my eyes say that I'm shouting? Does it look like I'm angry? Get your eyes angry. Rah, 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 rah. And then, and then away we go. Did I lose my temper? I did. In the 4 years we were together, 5 times I lost my temper. And you wouldn't think where they were either. I didn't even raise my voice. I was very quiet when I lost my temper. I was very quiet indeed. I was ready to kill, but I was very quiet indeed. Why do our tags to say who we are keep on changing colour? Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. I just see.
Oh, good.
GT
My head has nearly grown back. It fucking hasn't.
after being
It's got
off.
fucking years. You don't know, because the back's still flat, right? And there's burnt bits on the outside. So there's no way the skin grafts are going to take until that comes off. And they're just going to have to fall off. It's going to be years. It's going to be years.
Look, Lion
And then they're going to
Spider.
have to
Lion
cover your
Spider
body with Nutella,
suggestion for how to get
spread,
noticed.
and run around in a mankini at Parliament. Yeah, I'd get noticed then. I fucking went to Parliament, and one of my ex-school, I won't call him a friend, school, one of they classmates, was there being a security guard, skinny fuck pasty shit that he was, right? And so I'm going through another security area, and he says, "Oh, you should tuck your shirt in." I went, "Really?" He says, "Oh, yeah, it's a security area." And I went, "Ah, righto." His shirt was out, and I'm going, "Why should I tuck my shirt in?" "Oh, because it's a formal area." And he's having a giggle ha-ha with his mates, and I'm going, he's had the "here comes the fag," and I'm going to give him a hard time. And I'm going, "All right, should I take my pants off as well? Because I can do that now." And I was starting to take my pants off. He said, no, you don't need to do that. And I'm going, well, how the hell am I going to tuck my shirt off unless I'm going to take my pants off? Or don't take your pants off. Oh, I guess that we're in an impasse. Put my pants off and I walked on through. And it's like, fuck you. And I put a formal complaint in and got a fucking phone call a little while later and fucking dropped the guts on this guy. Saying that he basically put a gay slur into his funny ha-ha little mates. And they all got put up on disciplinary hearings because they couldn't, because they all, one of them admitted it and they all fucking went down. What a dickhead. Oh, you know why you're in here? Because, they're all in here for that guy. Oh, yeah, because we were making fag jokes and blah, 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 blah. Boom, out it all fucking. It's like piercing a boil. It'll just, and then you squeeze it and the big one comes. And it makes everyone feel better, except for the guys getting fired. And Jesus, fuck, I hope he got fired. Nasty little shit. And of course, 25 years later, he would have mellowed a lot and gone, yeah, if I hadn't made a gay joke, I probably would have had a career by now. He would have just gone into another sector of the public service. He's rich as fuck now. He doesn't care.
Yeah. I want to say a quick hello to Fila and Sela and Casey Republic, who just came in. Hi to you. And I think this is a fun question Locust Trooper asked. What jobs did you do in your youth?
Oh, Christ.
Well, stand-up comedian for a start.
Well, no, I didn't do that until I'd been a kitchen hand, a juggler, a kitchen hand, a circus performer, a juggler, a circus performer, a juggler, a comedian, a juggler, a comedian, a circus performer, a juggler, a comedian, a kitchen hand, a comedian, a kitchen hand, a prostitute, a chick kitchen hand, a comedian, a prostitute, a comedian, a kitchen hand, a comedian, waiter for half an hour. Comedian, fired director. That was the end of my youth.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was keeping busy, in other words.
Oh, also plumber. Yeah, a lot of plumber. And basically, yeah, house fucking Atlas. I
Yeah.
had to make the house go while my parents were at work, and then they'd come
Yeah.
home from plumbing, and it had to be ready to go. Dinner in the oven, so that my old man could have
Yeah.
half an hour shower, and then to be on the table set. Kids not, in an appropriate way. All the shit out the back of the house not blowing up. Well, the shit that would blown up had to be, fired out. Comedian and prostitute. What's the difference? Well, you get paid if you're a prostitute,
It's a more stable line of work.
and you get paid up front.
Yes. Yeah.
But they're both honest jobs. They're both
Yeah.
honest jobs. Your clients will tell you straight away if they're not happy with the service.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway.
that's something they have in common. Instant reviews. Yeah. Really, really unabashed feedback on both fronts.
Instant reviews. You're less likely to get bashed if you're a prostitute. And yeah, it's you don't tour much as a prostitute. You tour a lot as a comedian.
Although
And that's fun.
I do see on Twitter that is actually a thing these days, touring sex workers.
I'd believe it.
The ones who have a public profile, because it's all self-promotion these days on the social media.
It's all internet now.
Twitter's about the last platform you can do it on, because you get banned from all other platforms these days. But Twitter, they can still essentially advertise. Also, our Locust Trooper was interested in when you first got disability pension. Was that when you got rheumatoid arthritis, or?
Yes, that was when I got rheumatoid arthritis. What can I say? It was second phase of run 1. So I got rheumatoid arthritis. It was bad. It was bad for 2 years. Then I had at this time been on the chemo. So that clicked over into, we can't cure it now. We've got to cure it next time through. So it peaks and it goes down, and it peaks and it goes down. So it peaked and it went down, but not very far. And then it peaked again. And they'd already been hitting it with the chemo. They expected it to go down and didn't. So I was in a bad way. I just couldn't get in and put the I've been looking for a job every 2 weeks. And back then it was, you only had to look for 4 jobs back then.
Yeah.
And I used to genuinely go up to places and say, "Can I have a job?" And they would look at me and go, "No." And then I went to one place, I remember, and said, "Can I have a job?" And they said, "Do you want to go to hospital? Because you're not right, mate.
You don't look good.
You are not right." Because I was green.
Okay, some people might think you're exaggerating. I have seen photos of that period, and your skin was green. Not quite. Okay, that doesn't even look green. That looks grey on the camera. This is actually
grey. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I've seen photos of. This is a green bottle too, and it looks great. That's really weird. The color, false color that's going on. Oh, that's weird. Anyway, yes, I've seen photos of that time, and AZ was actually green. Also quite bloated. That was your. You looked like our 80s lesbian college lecturers at that stage.
Yeah, I was so bloated, and there were heat coming off me. There was so much heat coming off me that the comics used to fight for which ones would give me a lift home, because shit, and the heaters were fucked. And
you would warm up the car.
I would be put in the car because there was such a thing called the AIDS thermic reaction, and they'd say, "Put your hands over here so I can see." So I'd put my hands over in front of the steering wheel, and the heat coming off would actually demist
Yeah.
the fucking windscreen.
Yeah.
And then they'd say, "Put your hands and lean back into the center between the seats and behind." And then the boys behind would all put their hands like close to me, fuckers. And I'd heat up the car. Then they'd start the car, and the heaters would go, and the other car would go past, giving it a bit of like this, and we'd be giving it a little bit of like this, except for me, because I'd be giving it a little bit like that. Anyway, round 2, I go into the well, actually, I was a bit naughty. What I did is I spent all night looking at the Act of Parliament,
Okay.
because every Act of Parliament is in Hansard, and every Hansard is digitally scanned.
Yeah.
Everything that happens in government is an Act of Parliament.
Yeah.
Everything that is related to disability is an act. Everything that is related to why you would give people disabilities an act. And the prerequisites of what is disabled and what is not is in Hansard, is a rule. So you find it. You just find the fucking Hansard and says, "Oh, if they can do this, no. If they can do this, yes. If it can do this, no." And so I just fucking read up and I went, "Oh, yeah, I can piss that in." So I go in, and because the doctor that assesses you, this is great. The doctor that assesses you does not look at any other doctor's report.
Yeah.
Right? Any other doctor's report. And you go in there and you do the thing, and they go, "Okay." And I said, "Oh, is everything all right? Am I, do I have to do anything more?" And they went, "No, mate." I went, "Oh, okay. Will everything be okay?" And he said, "I can't tell you, but I can wink.
Right.
You'll be fine." So out I go, going, "Yeah, piss that in." I deserved it anyway. I could hardly fucking walk or do anything.
Yeah.
And I was so bloated I couldn't lift things up. They got me to do a work health and safety, and they said, "Pick up the coins." And I went, "No worries." Flick, 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 flick off the table and into my hand. They went, "No, pick up the coins off the table." And it took me 15 minutes to get all of the coins off the table and into this pot, because I couldn't quite grip them. And they waited for me to do it. And the last one was a 5-cent coin. And I was just getting really frustrated. So finally I licked my finger and went jam and got it up, picked it up and went flick and went, "That's it," and not do it anymore. And then went, "Well, it's 24 minutes anyway. We were going to stop you."
Yeah.
So basically there was, second round. They gave me my pension. It took another year and a half for me to lose the swelling. By that time, the damage was done. I still use a stick. My hands, thank fuck, have only got minor damage. I can still grasp really well. I have no power in my grasp, but I can grasp really well. Did I tell you about punch in the face?
Yeah. Sorry,
Well,
what?
I did. And did I tell you about punch in the face?
Yeah, that was a while ago, yeah. You actually were on
Right.
a live
Well,
stream only a day or so after you got punched in the face, and your nose was still, like, quite fucked up.
and I was bruised. That bruise
Yeah.
has only just gone away. I've been thinking about trimming my beard, and I've been looking at this bruise going, "Oh, fucking hell, if I trim my beard, it'll come straight out."
Yeah.
And I'm going, no, I think I'll just fucking leave it there for a while.
Leave the disguise for a while.
And I tried to hit this fucker with my stick, realizing it was my blue stick, which is really a bit of an aluminium thing. And I didn't have my good metal stick, because my swordsmith friend took my old one with me and said, "I'll make a new one." He hasn't. But he's been in a bad place. So I've got to call him again next day after tomorrow. And effectively, I hit this guy with my stick, and I realised that I have no power in my arms. My stick was really fucking
Well, yeah,
ineffectual. Because what I wanted to do was just push him away and or break his collarbone.
yeah,
Because he was giving it a lot of upstairs push.
yeah.
And then when I walked away from him, he was doing the coward punch in the back of the head, but he was missing, and I could just feel him in the back of my
Feel the
head.
air going
And
past.
yeah, and I was just going, no, that's not good. So walk, look at him, and going, what are you doing? And then I walk, he'd do it again. Now, the
Yeah.
thing is, as soon as I was pushing him off with a stick,
Mm.
and he was giving it the growl, the phones came out. So a lot of them were doing the click, but a lot of them were doing the video. A
Yes.
lot of them were doing the video.
Yeah.
And the thing that really got people's attention when he was trying to punch the crippled old man in the back of the head twice.
Yeah.
And then I've turned around and gone, what are you, big man? Come on, man. Smack right in the face. Over I go. Anyway, the cops rang me up yesterday and said,
Yeah.
"Oh, look, we have got you down as a witness." And I went, "Well, yeah, I was a pretty good witness. I was the guy who got hit." And she's looking down. I'm not going to say her name, but she's looking down at the piece of paper and going, "Oh my stars! Oh my word! Yes, you are. I'm sorry. I'm awfully sorry. I was just getting witness statements and getting them to put their film in. We've got a lot of it, but there's more to come." And I said, "Look, I talked to the guy before, and he said there was enough photograph to do a walkthrough.
Okay.
More than that, we've got remember that thing that they did for Obama's inauguration? How you could go from the back all the way to the front and
Yeah.
get, because there was enough photos that you could actually
Oh, yeah.
3D walk
Yeah.
right up
Do
to
a fight. Yeah.
Obama with his big screens around him, because you
Yeah.
don't know when these black guys are going to pull a nine and start shooting a crowd. Anyway, basically, yeah, there was enough of that to do a walkthrough, and now I find out that there's enough film already put in from enough different
Yeah.
angles that they're basically going to show them one by one. They're going to show the best ones one
Yeah.
by one
Yeah.
to the judge, and effectively bore the judge with the same thing over and over and over again, showing that
Yeah.
I was walking away the whole time.
Yeah.
Then I got a smack in the head. Now, interestingly enough, this guy didn't get bail. They've had him in custody, incarcerated for 3 months. 3 months? 2.5 months. And then they'll let him go. And then he's got to go back for mentions.
Yeah.
Now, if he says guilty straight up, that's it. Everyone walks home saddened. He probably does a few more months in community service, probably 6 months in community service. There's tears and hugs, and that's it. He will be told under no uncertain circumstances to never be where I am.
Yeah.
If he sees me, he walks away.
Yeah.
He will be told under no uncertain circumstances to not hang around in that area, being Northcote, Thornbury, Preston, ever again. He will find a new place to be. And if he fights it, I will be required to be on the stand. I, of course, will be terrified of my
Yeah.
attacker.
I don't want
And
to cut you short, but it's bedtime.
oh
So
shit! I was just blowing on. Oh, you should have said, "Aidsy, shut the fuck up. Talk
just
about
did.
me for a
I just did.
change."
So it's good night to all you fine people. Hey, look, I'm just going to leave you with one thing. Just weird trivia. I'm on Twitter. I've had a mini surge in the last day or two on my gay lion tweet that went viral like a year and a half ago. So I don't know. Someone's found it. A couple dozen people have been liking and retweeting. For those who don't know, I'll do the screen share thing again just as a bye-bye. So this was the tweet. It's a news story where tourists had got pictures of two male lions humping each other in Kenya. And Kenya is a notoriously homophobic country. And one of the officials in the government said the homosexual lions learned it from copying gay tourists, which I thought was odd. And my tweet was, personally, I say hats off to the gay tourists who were willing to fuck in front of lions, because that seemed to be what the guy's suggesting. And that took off. This is like my one and only viral tweet. Like you can see, get the details. The numbers are weird as hell. Like over 12 million people have seen it.
Christ.
Over 2 million people directly interacted with it.
Wow.
Over almost 1.7 million people clicked on the various things that I have in it. Got 165,000 likes, 68,500 retweets, 19,000 people looked at my profile, had 1,300 replies. But here's my favorite statistic: 93 people followed me. Out of millions of people, 93 followed me.
Well,
tweets are useless.
it's a hard tread, Twitter.
Yeah.
I think you should be an influencer on Instagram.
Yeah.
I think we both should. I think we should be docking influencers.
Oh, calm down.
Considering that we don't have the equipment to dock, I'd say we basically do artificial docking mechanisms and do GoFundMes on our experiments that work best.
Oh, what a disturbing thought. Okay, we're going to leave you people on that. Thank you for joining us.
We're gonna 3D print. We're gonna 3D print what we need.
Good. 3D print some artificial foreskins. Okay,
that's what I'm saying, bro.
Like an adventure. Look, we'll see all you people soon. Hopefully, looked after yourselves in the meantime. But we'll say bye for now. Bye. Clicking the end.
Bye for now. Have a good one.